Good night and welcome to Teleislas News, the most relevant and important information of the day. After finishing scrutiny, the delegate of the Registrar's Office, Fernando Sanchez, and the President of Representative of the National Electoral Council, had just made official the election of Elizabeth J. Pan for the Liberal Party and Jorge Mendez for the Cambio Radical Party as representative to the House of Representatives. The Attorney General Francisco Barbosa arrived in the archipelago to announce the progress in the investigation of the murder that have occurred in recent weeks, as well as announce the indictment against former governor in charge.
The Attorney General Francisco Barbosa, in a press conference held at the San Andres Prosecutor's Office, announced that the control entity charged the former interim governor Allen Jay for the alleged crime of contract without compliance with legal requirements.
Hoy se radicó.
Today, the request for the hearing of charges against the former interim governor of San Andres Island, Allen Leonardo J. Stevens, was filed for the crime of contract without compliance with legal requirements. A delegated prosecutor before the Supreme Court of Justice established that the ex-governor signed a contract in December 2020 for 1,550 million pesos for the lease, transportation, installation, and dismantling of the Christmas lighting of the archipelago. The contract, according to the delegate prosecutor of the respective court, presented many and multiple irregularities in the contracting.
The prosecutor's office also gave details about the capture of the co-author of the murder of singer Fabián Pérez Getí. The accused would be the one who allegedly drove the motorcycle from which the attack on the King of Creole was carried out.
Logramos entonces
We managed to take to prison Dixon Denzel Manuel Watson, alias Pago, one of the persons responsible, and in the coming days we will have more results regarding the event that had the island and the artistic world of the country in mourning. In this case, you know that alias Pago was the person who drove the motorcycle from which the attack on the singer was carried out. This person was charged with the crimes of homicide, attempted aggravated homicide, and manufacturing and carrying a weapon, among other crimes, and as I said, the process of clarification continues.
Prosecutor Barbosa also gave a statement on the murderer of dancer Luis Bustamante, saying that in the coming weeks, more information about the murder will be released and that he himself, as head of the prosecutorial entity, will return to the archipelago to announce the results of the investigation of this case.
As of the closing of this broadcast, Carlos Bryan, candidate to the House of Representatives, is still on hunger strike in front of the Registrar's Office.
In the afternoon, the candidate to the House of Representatives, Carlos Bryan Uribe, declared himself on hunger strike because, according to him, the elections were stolen and he would not allow it. In his social networks, the politician stated that he would stay at the Registrar's Office, blocking the entrance until National Registrar, the Attorney General's Office, the Controller, and the Ombudsman all show up on the site. So far, the candidate is still on strike.
Well, basically from today, I start one process, stay without it until we get the guarantee from the control entities them and from the registradory and the delegados them that fiercely we denounce all the crime committed by Cambio Radical, and we don't get no result in the authority to exact and put this in order, and that's why I had to take this decision, because this is a decision to defend our territory, our racial territory, and we cannot continue to permit that this attitude being disrespectful or make them continue to believe that because they have the control entities, they can do with all of us what they want.
The candidate states that so far he has not received any official certificate regarding the results of the election that has already ended in the archipelago.
And a few hours ago, in the Sprat Bay pedestrian pathway near the convention center, a woman was wounded with a confusion. Facts that are being investigated by the National Police. According to information obtained by this news agency, intelligence and judicial police units were present at the scene to verify the case. In the video circulating on social networks, it can be seen how a young woman is held by people trained in first aid, who apparently are lifeguards in the area of the beach. As of the closing of this broadcast, the authorities have not made any statement regarding this incident where the woman was wounded in one of her legs with a firearm. And in other news, the organization Transparency for Colombia, for a Colombia free of corruption, is on the island. This afternoon meeting with leaders and racial activists to provide results regarding the following of the reconstruction of the archipelago. Below is a report of what was done.
The socialization of the analysis conducted by the NGO Transparency for Colombia was developed today after a detailed and constant monitoring of the resources allocated and managed and how they are invested and where the information was available for the knowledge of the community to identify corruption risk. The results were presented to those present.
Associated with the access to information, it is not the clearest. It is not quality information. It is not being delivered proactively. Associated to the publication of the resources invested in terms of contracting, the obligation to report the contracting in terms of governance through SECOP is not being complied with. And we found that there is a duplicity of organizations in charge or responsible for the reconstruction, but there is no clear coordination of these. And we have a risk management unit, a management that was created within the power of the national government.
The community actively participated by recounting and presented testimonies and experience regarding the reality of the reconstruction of the island of San Andres.
In this moment, we have a good example. Transparency for Colombia is an organization, a private organization, ONG, that open the doors and they tell the people who can come here, who can talk about the process of the reconstruction. We can search in community all the information we share if we can know what is happening, because it's very important when we can get a decision we need for the information.
We believe in it. Now, what we need to have clear is that we have political control on everything. And because of the political control, it is very hard for them to develop properly, because they are not the one who execute. They are the one who receive denounces of different type of hurts systematically that the people have had over the years through the heart of the state, and they try to present that and shows the way in which we could fight to regain our space.
The result of the activity organized today at the facilities of the Christian University was described as positive.
And tomorrow in the auditorium of the Coral Palace, there will be a socialization of the adjustments to the technical scientific exclusion procedure.
The Secretariat of Health and Social Protection will hold the socialization of how the exclusions of the health benefit plan were adjusted. It should be noted that for months, the government has been holding meetings with the community to carry out the adjustments to the technical scientific procedure of a public, collective, participative, and transparent nature, by means of which the services and technologies that would not be financed in the benefit plan were determined.
We are socializing one meeting where we will have tomorrow morning from 8 till 11 in the morning in the Wall Peterson auditory from Gobernación. Many people from the Ministerio de Salud y Protección Social coming and can socialize the service them that have been taken out of the plan of benefit in health. This service are service that not obligatory have an effect on the people they help.
Within the socialization meetings, the one of the immediately previous year is highlighted.
This process coming from last year, where the community have an active participation in both and decide why the service should stay out of the plan of benefit or why it should stay in. So it is important for the community to come to the meeting and see the final part of this process, how the plan of benefit wants stay, and which service won't be out of it.
The meeting with the Secretariat of Health and Social Protection will take place in the government auditorium, where the final phase will be disclosed.
And after the release of one of the sharks found near the site where referring tourists was attacked by one of these species, the environmental entity gave an update on the monitoring of sharks in the archipelago.
The Environmental Corporation, Coralina, announced that after a satellite tag was placed on one of the sharks found near the south of the island, it was released more than 10 miles from San Andres. The work of tracking the species has shown its distance from the department. However, the environmental agency said that the second specimen sighted south of San Andres has not been found, which could mean that it has moved from the coast.
No fue tan fácil, ya no encontramos los tiburones.
We did not find the sharks that were in the area of the piscinita. We were fishing to catch the shark. We had no luck, which is positive. We had already known about the consecutive presence of these sharks in the area, and no one has seen them again. We drove by using the Coralina drone several times in the area and we found nothing.
The Environmental Corporation will have signage in different areas of the island so that bathers know which are the allowed bathing areas, and also it indicated that the practice that some tourist attractions or fishermen do by throwing food into the sea could attract more of these sharks.
Y pasaban pescadores arrojando vísceras que estaban limpiando.
Fishermen were passing by throwing bait very close to the coast. It is a wake-up call and a recommendation that if you are going to clean the fish during the boat returning to the coast, that you do it farther away. Let's say that the slope is very close to the coast. If those parts of the fish go to the bottom, it is less serious. Let us avoid attracting sharks so close to the shore.
Coralina indicated that the hunting and commercialization of sharks is prohibited in the archipelago. Those caught committing this crime will be sanctioned.
The Regional Sena San Andres headquarters announced that during the 24th and 25th, they will have a day of job openings.
The event will be held at the facilities of the Sena Public Employment Agency with the presence of two companies that are looking for personnel to work. Within the call are vacancies for front desk manager, hotel manager, night auditor, housekeeper, cashier, salesperson, and general service assistant. These job openings days will be held on March 24th and 25th from 9 a.m. until 12 noon and from 3 p.m. to 6 in the afternoon. The invitation is for the entire community to attend and take advantage of these offers.
And now we continue with Millicent O'Neill and all the news of the municipality of Old Providence and Santa Catalina.
Good evening to everyone. This is the most relevant information from Old Providence and Catalina. Alleged irregularities were denounced on social media with the emergence of some videos that suggest that there was a violation of the chain of custody and improper vote manipulation.
Violation in the chain of custody, undue manipulation, and delay in the delivery of results during the counting of the votes in the recent election are some of the apparent irregularities that are being denounced. This was made known by the former municipal attorney Randy Ward, who recorded with his phone what he considered actions that should be investigated.
We was the first one them done nationally. So as I see the scrutiny of the mesa way rather than take over long for done. Never done too late, like I don't know why. So that was one of the first irregularity.
According to the lawyer, the scrutiny had irregularities.
The registrar, our company course, start managing ballot them. Think what she know do. The ballot them when you work on over table, it just it to scrutadores them that who got access to it. For she function, it just the hitter the result them.
On the other hand, Ward expressed that the padlocks that secure the elements to be scrutinized should have had several keys.
When I say the three padlock them only had in one key, I asked her why they only got one key. So she said Alcaldia that who give she the key, they padlock them with the key and only give them one key for each padlock. So there's something funny because everybody don't know when you go buy a ferreteria or any water in a world, go buy a padlock with the key, it come minimum 2 key or 3 key.
This news outlet tried to contact the mayor for his reaction to these statements. However, at the closing of this broadcast, there was no response. The microphones of Teleislas News are open in case there is any pronouncement.
And approximately 2 hectares were affected after a forest fire that lasted 2 days on Split Hill Mountain.
For 2 days, Split Hill was once again in flames. This is the second conflagration that has occurred in that place in less than 2 months, affecting the community and above all the environment in that sector.
Big environmental affectation. We had a lot of species that was affected in the burning that was on the hillside. The whole part of the hillside, the hill was burned approximately a month ago already.
The office is planning to include the affected area in the reforestation program that is being carried out in the municipality.
Sunday, after the burning, we visit the place, the area, and we are looking and making a possibility to make a project for reforestation for the area.
In spite of not having clear what started the fire, environmental authorities asked the community to abstain from any type of burning.
It's not the first, is something that's happening constantly now. The people that light the fire, they burn, they ground them, or they light fire behind the house them, and it getting away from them, and it causing this burning them and this real affectation from the environment.
This is all the information we have for tonight for the section of Old Providence and Ketlina. Continue in San Andres with more Teleislas News. Good night.